Hi everyone, my name is Abbey Finch. I am founder and owner of Scribespace, internet marketing consulting company. We focus on helping small businesses achieve their marketing goals and dreams. So each episode, I have a new small business owner on the show to talk about the behind the scenes action of what it's like to own a business. So tonight, I'm really excited to talk to Krista Haley of Jersey Artisan Distilling. It is New Jersey's first distillery since Prohibition. So she's going to tell us all about trailblazing and changing laws and doing all the really cool and exciting things that came with starting this distillery, which was now 4 years in the making. So thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you for inviting me. I'm excited to be here.
So for the first half of the show, we'll talk a little bit about your background, and then the second half of the show, I came up with the theme of turning your dreams into a reality because I was reading a little bit about your history, and basically this was just kind of a dream for you, and your business partner just made it happen.
Yeah, it's kind of scary, but
which is awesome.
But awesome. Yeah, definitely awesome.
So thanks again for being on the show.
Thank you.
Tell me a little bit more about your work history, your background.
Well, I, in my previous incarnation, still kind of current incarnation, was a practicing lawyer. I did mostly family and criminal law. I've had my own practice for about the last 6 years. Okay. So, this isn't the first time I've worked for myself, but, this is the first time I'm doing something completely outside of my comfort zone. So,
big departure.
Yeah, quite a little bit, yeah.
So how did you get started in the distilling business?
Well, it was my business partner's dream. His brother asked him one day if you could wake up tomorrow and do what you wanted to do instead of what you had to do, what would it be? And that's a really interesting question, and people will ask that, but Brant actually took the question seriously and thought about it, and he thought about it for a few days, and he's an engineer, so he thought about it, and he kept coming back to distilling, and and then he and I became friends not too long after that. We met at the Cricket Hill Brewery, which is a little craft brewery in Fairfield, and we would talk about it and kind of decided after a lot of talking and research and thinking about it, we were both at a point where in our careers where we wanted a new challenge and decided to just go for it. So
you just took the plunge.
Yeah, pretty much. It was really there was a lot of research that went into it. I mean, I am a lawyer after all, so I had to make sure that everything was in line. And that it was actually something possible because nobody had done it since 1933.
Right. So tell me a little bit more about that. Actually, the background before you said it took about 1.5 years before you guys could get up and running, and there was some legal. Yeah,
there were a lot of hurdles we faced. The first question was whether it was a possibility in New Jersey, given that nobody had done it since 1933. And I looked into it. I made some phone calls. And I found out that a couple of people had kind of started the process and then got scared when they saw all that was involved. And it is pretty daunting. And, then we decided, we looked at everything and thought we could really do it. And I think it really helped having kind of both sides of it. He's more the technical, scientific, he's the one who does 95% of the distilling. I can do it. I've done it. I prefer not to. It's not my strong suit. I can make sure that we are following the laws. And, I could look at the existing law at the time and figure out, how to turn that into a business and then even work on changing the law in the process. So.
And you actually did.
Yes.
You changed the law.
Yes. Not many lawyers get to do the whole Schoolhouse Rock, how a bill becomes a law kind of thing. But I,
cue the bill on the steps of the Congress.
Yeah. And I swear that was going through my head the entire time. Like, this is really, really what I'm doing. I went and I testified in front of the assembly, and, I'd found out that they had introduced a craft distilling bill several times in previous years, but the lawyer in me knew that they would never pass it until it applied to somebody.
Right.
So why would you pass a law that applies to nobody and helps nobody and hurts nobody? Like, it does nothing. So we opened under the existing law, which is, basically you can open, you can make alcohol, pay us a lot of money, and the end. But in my research, I found that for a small distillery, for a craft distillery, you really need to be able to have tours and tastings, be able to introduce not just your product to people, but introduce people to you as the business. Because, the business is really just me and Brant. That's it. Like, we're the whole show. We do everything from, mop the floors to distill the rum to, balance the books to,
Right, you're not just a one-trick pony.
No. I've learned a lot of new skills that I didn't know I had. So what
made you take the risk then? Since there were so many huge roadblocks. Not just the normal business owner roadblocks. Yeah,
the competitive part of me liked the idea of being the first ones to do it since Prohibition. And I did a lot of research, and I found that of the nearly 500 distilleries that have opened in the last decade or so in the U.S., only about 4 have gone out of business due to economic failure. So those are odds I'm willing to play. Like,
they're definitely in your favor.
Yeah. I'm not like the biggest gambler, but that's a gamble I'll take.
Right.
So
tell me a little more about the actual products that you make. You specialize in rum right now?
Yes. Right now we have our 2 kinds of rum. Our busted barrel rum. And we do a silver rum, which is, it's unaged. It ages like a month in stainless steel, and then it's charcoal filtered. And then our dark rum ages in oak barrels, and that's where it gets all the color from. We don't add any caramel coloring, nothing added to, like, it's literally just barrel.
It start like that?
It starts like that.
And then just from the barrel?
Yeah.
Oh, groovy.
Yeah. It's kind of crazy. Like, when we first did it, I thought we messed up because, like, what goes into the still is, like, dark brown and sludgy. And I was like, oh, yeah, because we're going to make dark rum.
Yeah.
And then it came out, like, crystal clear. And I was like, oh, no, did we mess up?
Is it wrong?
And luckily Brant knew what he was doing. And he's like, no, that's the barrel. We need to put it in the barrel still. So, but everything we're doing is all natural. We wanted to go back to how rum was traditionally made. Like, back in colonial times, people drank rum more than anything. Like, it was before whiskey, before people certainly didn't drink vodka in the colonies, anything like that. They drank rum. And so we went back to the natural way it was made. Like, it's just molasses, yeast, lemon juice, and water that we ferment and distill. And we're using little barrels to age it, because back in colonial times, we weren't bringing like a 53-gallon barrel to market with you. Nobody can lift that.
No.
Yeah. So we
Your
use
oxen could not carry that.
No. He would be really mad at you. Yeah. A horse apparently can carry 2 10-gallon barrels. This is what I've learned. I've learned very weird, random trivia through this process, but yeah, like, I learned that we don't have cork trees in the United States. Like, we're using natural cork. Everything is from the U.S. Like, our molasses is from the U.S. Like, everything is made, even our glass is made in the U.S. except for our cork, which comes from Portugal.
Oh, because that's where the cork is.
That's where all the cork trees are.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow, you learn something new every day, huh?
Very, very weird trivia now that's in my brain.
What's the response been from people who have visited the distillery and drink the rum? And
people who have tried it love it. And we're sold in about 400 stores, bars, restaurants across New Jersey.
Okay.
And we've recently started selling in Baltimore, D.C., parts of New York, including New York City. and we're, expanding every day, and it's kind of exciting.
That sounds super exciting.
Yeah. Like,
what's up next? I thought you were talking about maybe gin.
Yeah, gin is going to be our next thing we work on. That's going to be, we're hoping to have it perfect by Memorial Day, because and eventually we're going to do 3 kinds of gin. We'll probably just start with 2. One that's going to be like a classic London dry, very juniper-y style, and then one that's, the more modern American style that is a little citrusy. And then the third one that I'm really excited about, and I'm really excited about working on, but it's a lot more experimental, is going to be things that are native to New Jersey. Like, all the botanicals are going to be things that are native to New Jersey. So, like, it's going to have, like, white pine in it and maybe some cranberries. I don't know. I don't even know what's going to go into it at this point. It's going to be
so
pure experiment.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Hyper local. Jersey pride right
there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All Jersey in there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. We're all about being from Jersey. We could have opened easily in New York, Pennsylvania, like New York State. They sent us a thing where they were going to give us a building and, like, help us retrofit it out and do all this stuff, and it was like way upstate New York. And I mean, we're both from Jersey, Brant and I, so we were like, we want to do this, and we want to do this here, and somebody needs to open a distillery in New Jersey, and it should be us. So
you did it.
Yeah, so we did.
What are your, like, least favorite parts of the business and most favorite parts of the business?
My least favorite parts of the business, I would say, are, dealing with, tracking people down for payment, making sure, just, like, the minutia. Mm-hmm. I love, though, meeting people, introducing them to the product, showing them our Jersey pride, and showing them, like, what rum can be, instead of what people have gotten used to, like, this mass-produced, very syrupy, sweet, like, bad hangover. Everybody has, like, a bad rum story.
Right.
And so, like, that's been a big hurdle, too, is convincing people, like, rum can actually be good and not, like, abuse you.
Right.
And,
I
like,
can
if
taste the Captain Morgan in my mouth.
Yeah.
And it's not.
No. And this is nothing like Captain Morgan.
It's not good.
Yeah, we don't add any sugar back to our rum. Like, it gets a little sweetness because obviously it's made from molasses.
Yeah.
But, a lot of people add sugar. But if you're making a cocktail with it, you're adding sweet things. So then why do you want sweet on top of sweet equals bad hangover and bad memories? But
it sounds like you take a lot of ownership in your product and your business, which is, I mean, I think that's, like, the cornerstone of success, is having something you're actually proud of. I mean, you can do all the marketing you want for it, but if you don't have a good product to sell, if you don't have a good business to tell, you don't have a good story to sell, it doesn't make any difference.
Yeah, exactly.
So, well, that's fantastic.
Yeah, and that's what, I mean, it's really very much, it's just me and Brant. So, like, the whole company doing everything ourselves. So,
blood, sweat, and tears.
Yeah, and it's like, if we didn't believe in the product, how do I expect anybody else to? So
awesome. So we're gonna take a little break. When we come back, we'll do a few more questions with Krista and learn a little bit more about the behind the scenes of Jersey Artisan Distilling.
Local government, local educational institutions, and local community members all use cable access TV to communicate their message. They depend upon it as an affordable means of outreach. Public educational and government access television empowers local government agencies, individuals, and groups to use the media to speak directly to their constituents in a more direct and cost-effective way. Make sure everyone has a voice. Support your local PEG channels.
Welcome back. I'm Abbey Finch, and this is Community and Business, and our guest this week is Krista Haley of Jersey Artisan Distilling, and we learned a little bit more about her products and her business and all the really cool, exciting things. that has gone into making this dream a reality. So you made quite a transition from being an attorney to a distillery owner. Was sort of being a lawyer an old dream of yours, and then distilling was a new dream, or was it always something in the back of your mind?
No, this is a very new thing for me, and it never would have crossed my mind if I hadn't become friends with Brant. And really, it was his passion that inspired me to make the change. Like, I decided when I was 12 that I was going to be a lawyer.
Right.
I announced when I was 12 that I was going to go to Princeton, and then I was going to go to law school, and then I was going to be a lawyer, and that was just how it was going to be.
And you did it.
And I did. Like, I went to Princeton, and then I went to law school, and I became a lawyer. And, I've been a lawyer now for almost 13 years, and I'm one of those people who needs a new challenge pretty regularly. Like, I like to be learning something new. Like, even with my law practice, I started out in the prosecutor's office. I did that for about 4.5 years. And then I needed a new thing to learn and a new challenge. So then I went and worked for law firms, doing a lot of family law. And I did that for, about 3 years. And then I opened my own practice. And I've been doing that for the last 6 years. So
I feel like that's more of a trend nowadays. It used to be like you went to work in a company and you worked there for 40 years and then you retired.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, nowadays, I don't know if it's just we're more restless as a society, or we're just we're more excited, or we see more opportunities. But people seem to change careers and
like drastic changes with
right.
careers. It's
like
not
complete,
like
It's not like you went from criminal law to family law and then you went into personal injury. You're like, no, I'm just gonna start making rum now.
I'm gonna make rum now. People, and I think it's actually a good thing that it gives people an opportunity to find what their passion is, rather than this is the job that I selected when I was 21 years old, 18 years old, and then you work there till you retire, and maybe it's not what you love. And I mean, there are people who still do that, and because they find their passion right away and they know what their passion is. But how do you really know what your passion is when you're 18 or 21 or even 30? We started working on this about 4.5 years ago, and I was in my 30s at that point. But it was...
You were of an age.
Yeah, I'd been doing the same thing for a while and wanted something new. And it was such an interesting challenge to me, both like intellectually and personally, that that was part of what really got me into it. That I got to learn a whole new area of law and really create law. And, so I got to apply my lawyering skills, but I've never really had a job where at the end of the day I made this.
Right.
You have
a tangible product.
Yeah.
It's like your blood, sweat, and tears.
Oh, yeah.
Not literally.
Yeah.
No one wants to drink that.
Pretty close. Yeah. And each bottle is like hand numbered. Like, that's my handwriting on this on both of them. Yeah. So, it's kind of fun that it's like, I made this one.
Yeah.
And,
So do you think everyone's sort of cut out to make the plunge, or do you think that, like...
I think if you find something you're passionate about, go for it. And you have to be willing to go for it. Like, if you don't have a little adrenaline junkie risk taker in you, then it's not going to work. Because especially something like this, but I think with most startup businesses, because it consumes your life. Like we were talking about earlier, it's like having a child. You don't
sleep. You have constant anxiety. You don't eat. You don't have a social life.
Oh yeah. Like, my social life revolves around like, I'm going to a place to promote the rum, and that's about it. And then those rare nights when I don't have anything like that, I'm like, I just go home. Yeah. Like, the other night I didn't have anything. And I just went home and I watched like crappy movies on TV, and it was lovely. It was lovely.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah, couldn't remember the last time I did that though. Yeah. You know.
I was actually reading part of Steve Martin's book, and he was talking about, it's like, I guess a memoir, but he was talking about how if you find something you're passionate about it, you have to stick to like one thing and get really good at that one thing and hyper focus on it, because otherwise you'll just get distracted and be kind of good at a bunch of different things.
Yeah.
You know, which I thought was really helpful for someone like me who is like, oh, that sounds like fun. You know, I want to do
that's
that.
gonna be cool. And why not this? And and I want to be a ballerina today.
I'm gonna take ballet classes.
Yeah. It's true though. Like, you have to be ready to just give everything up. And, you know, all my money, time, resources is in the distillery now. You know, I still do some lawyering because, you know, I got bills to pay. And, you know, my mortgage company prefers me to do things like pay them. But, you know, otherwise this is, I mean, it's full time too. And it's not just even when you're actually physically at your workplace, but it's when you come home and it's 3:00 in the morning when you wake up screaming, oh God, what did I do? And whose idea was this? And, you know, but.
So what are your biggest fears?
It's very scary, you know, not knowing, especially because in New Jersey, there are no other distilleries. I mean, there are 2 others now that have opened since us, but when we opened, there was nobody distilling in New Jersey. So I had really nobody to turn to. I could talk to distillers in other states, but their experience is different than mine. And
Different laws.
Yeah, different laws, different
demographics.
Yeah, attitudes, different perceptions. And so to create not just a new business, but basically a new industry in New Jersey was really terrifying. And it still is, because, yes, 2 other distilleries have opened, but until several have opened, you know, craft distilling really isn't a thing in New Jersey. Right. You know, people know about the breweries, they know about the wineries, and, you know, people don't really know about us. For as much as attention as we've gotten some great press and all of that, but so much of it is just getting out there and meeting people and getting them to try it, especially, as I was saying before, because it's rum and everybody has like a bad rum experience.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know why.
They're like, what's so special about rum?
Yeah, and it's really good if it's done right. Like, you know.
It is special.
Yeah, and I want it to be special. I want it to be something that not just like I'm proud of, but New Jersey can be proud of.
So is that kind of like the biggest reward for you?
Yeah.
Is like...
Yeah, when I convert somebody who is like, I don't drink rum, try it. Like, that's what I just say. I'm like, try it. If you don't like it, I'll finish it for you. Yeah. You know? And, you know, usually that'll get them to try it.
And then they usually like it, right?
Like, oh, this is good. I'm going to take this with me. Yeah. And, you know, I've done tastings in stores. People, I don't drink rum. Just try it. And they end up buying 2 bottles. Like, it's not even just like, oh, I'll buy one. Oh, I'll buy one of each. And, you know, go with that. So it's pretty rewarding to see people and to see people like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're the bringer of good fun times.
Yes.
Not like the lawyering.
Oh no. Yeah. No, I'm a much better party guest now.
Yeah,
like,
right.
Oh, let me tell you about this divorce I did today.
Right.
Let me tell you about this rum that I made today. Like, tell you about this cocktail that I tried yesterday. Yeah, and it's fun too seeing when it's in different bars and restaurants, like what the bartenders are doing with it and like what creative things, because I am not like I am a put 2 maybe 3 things together
some
into a
ice
glass.
Cubes and call it a day.
Yeah, and I'm like, here's your drink. But they'll be like, oh, let me make something, and then you know, like they're proud to make something for me with my rum, and I'm proud because it's my thing that I made. My mom even, she'll go to like liquor stores and she'll be like, that's my grandchild. Yeah. That's
adorable.
Yes. Yeah,
at any age, it's nice making mommy proud.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. So
Was anyone kind of in your life telling you were making a huge mistake?
Oh, yeah. Like
Everyone.
pretty much everyone. At first when I was like, I'm giving up lawyering and I'm going to make rum, everyone's like, you are crazy. Like, you have this successful law practice. Like, you're doing great. You keep building. It's, what are you doing? Like, you spent all that time going to law school and now you're going to make rum. But then I think when they saw how excited I was about it and, like how I actually did get to use my lawyering but it's a lot more me. Like, this is how I get to dress. Like, I don't have to put on my lawyer costume in the suit. Like, I was always like a little kid, like, I don't want to
go to court today.
Yeah. Although I'm worse about it now, like, because I don't have to dress like that. Like, this is even kind of dressed up for me.
Yeah.
You know?
I get it. I work in my PJs a lot.
Yeah. There's a lot of leggings happening in my life. And so now when I do have to go to court, I'm like, I really have to put on the lawyer costume. My lawyer costume has gotten a lot more casual since all this, but it seems to fly with the judges. So
and now you have more of a support group, I would imagine, people who are seeing that you actually knew what you're doing and you can make it actually happen. The vision that you guys had. I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah. And when it was just like a dream, people are like, oh yeah, that's cute. And then when we were like, we're going to do it, they're like, oh my God, you guys are crazy. And then there was the period of time when, I really lived on fear and adrenaline because it was like, oh my God, what did I do? And why didn't I take that new client? And why aren't I doing this? And maybe I shouldn't. But then, and the more we get into it, like, it's something new every day. And, we're constantly learning. And there are good days, there are bad days. But I can't say that I've regretted any day.
Oh,
so,
good.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, then that makes it worth it.
Yeah.
In the long run.
Yeah, and, Brant and I, like, we spend a lot of time together. We're...
like an old married couple.
Yeah, we are like an old married couple. People always think that, and it's better that we're not a couple, I think, for all involved, and so that we both have our separate spaces to go back to.
It sounds like you're more on the business side of things, and he's more on the scientific engineering sort of, behind the scenes. I mean, I asked you before, who comes up with the recipes? It's
Brant. Yeah, he comes up. Before we even started, and part of what sold me on doing this with him was, he had a whole notebook, like, full of equations and formulas and thoughts and ideas, and I was like, whoa. Okay, he's actually serious about this. Yeah. Like, he even designed our stills that we use, so there's pictures and drawings. It's pretty crazy. Yeah.
That's fantastic.
But yeah, it's been a good ride so far, and I think it's only going to get better.
Well, it's really inspiring to have the opportunity to have a conversation with you today about taking such risks and everything. I really admire that in people, and so this has been our episode of Community and Business. Krista Haley from Jersey Artisan Distillery. They're in Fairfield. Check them out, and thanks for watching.